Good evening, good morning, actually, to everyone. This is Doug McMahon, aka Lord Galaban. I am holding this class today to go over some research that I did last week on Friday about DexTools and the way that brand new pairs that get put on to the Ethereum blockchain work and how I saw the whole process going. And it really shocked me today. We'll be going over all of that information because I did not expect the numbers that I found or that I'm still seeing. Even yesterday's class that I held is really a solidification of the hypothesis that I came down with. So we'll be going over those today, checking to make sure that my levels are good, everything is broadcasting, and it would appear we are all good. We don't have anybody in the classroom yet, but hey, if not, oh well, people can go back and watch this. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get this started. We are on the DexTools.io website. This is the one that I use for most of my information whenever it comes to cryptocurrency and ERC20 tokens. We're going to live new pairs, and whenever we bring up live new pairs, the first thing we need to pay attention to is the fact that as they get put onto the Ethereum blockchain, they get put on in time order, which means that as soon as they're loaded up onto the Ethereum blockchain, that they get posted here. So anything that is an ERC20 contract instantly gets pulled here, or pushed onto this page. Now, I know we skipped over this a little bit in the original class, so we're going to go back over it more now. The first thing I want to cover is everything is listed as WETH, okay? So whenever you go to use any of your different swaps, Uniswap, PancakeSwap, etc., it'll show up right over here under this symbol. Now, you can see the P, the B, E, H, FV, these are all different connotations as to what it is going to be. But you can tell which service it's on just by looking at this symbol right here. This is the Uniswap symbol. Some of these will show Pancake, some of them will show Binance, and so on and so forth. I'm going to go a little bit over all of this first before we actually start discussing what my research was and exactly what I found. And just by initial looks from today, because this information is updated constantly, it's constantly being fed into what I consider the matrix or the blockchain or the web or whatever you want to call it. You will have the contract address for each one of these tokens or each one of the actual contracts itself. And you can copy these contracts from right here by simply right-clicking, going down, copy link address. You can copy it just by doing that. It'll take you right to it. That was a left click. And then you can come right up here and copy address by left-clicking right there as well. So before we get onto that screen, though, I still want to go over everything on this screen so that everybody understands before I start explaining what my research was and what I found. So we have our listing time. This goes off of whatever time you are in. It doesn't go off of Greenwich. It doesn't go off of any set place. It goes off the time frame because it connects to your computer to see where you're at, and then it lists it by that time exactly. it will list up token prices. You can see on this first one where the token price has not been listed yet. That means that the blockchain still needs to read the contract, get all the information out of the contract before it can post it on to this page for the live new pairs. Initial liquidity, it's the same thing. They have not put in the liquidity yet. This right here, as you can see on this one, shows you what the price is as of right now. When they put in the liquidity, it'll tell you the exact time and right down to the second. I'm quite sure you could find it right down to the millisecond, but who really needs it that close unless you're doing some serious counter surveillance or you're doing some serious investigative work. And if you're doing that, I'm quite sure you can pull it up. The total liquidity shows how much they put in. This number is really important because whenever I start discussing what my research was, you will understand why the total liquidity and the amount that was pooled is very, very important, because I noticed a serious correlation with this number and the type of research that I was doing. The pool variation shows how much that the contract has increased or decreased since it first hit the blockchain. This number shows how much is still in the Ethereum pool or Binance pool or USDC pool, whatever they used to start the liquidity pool, it will show here with what it is. So by this initial information just on this page, I can tell you that they started out with 1.25 Ether in their liquidity pool, and so far, X amount of people have put in 0.4 Ether, or yeah, 0.4, almost 0.41. So this is an important number as well. Over here, you can see different places where you can see this at. You can check the lock liquidity. You can see if it's locked or unlocked. You can see the live data as it's going. Now, before we even leave this page, I'm going to show you this one right here. Hikari is 100% pool variation. This one started out with 3 Ether. It started out 35 minutes ago, 35 and a half, but the team started this token and then pulled all the liquidity, i.e. it's a rug pull. Now, I'm going to go to this one first, but before that, I'm going to look down through here at all these that are on this page and this page alone. And just on this page, you can see one right here where it had 2 Ether and the team pulled the liquidity. Up here, the team started with 3 Ether, pulled the liquidity. Both of these are now dead tokens. So unless the other people that bought into these tokens got all their money out, they lost their money. That's very important with this class and what I'm about to show you guys what I learned. Because over a 4-hour time period on Friday, I took $300 and I put it in as research to see exactly where the numbers would be on the amount of ERC20 tokens that were started and how many of them were rug pulls over a 4-hour period. And I found over 50% of all ERC20 tokens that are started on the Ethereum blockchain are rug pulls. Now, this is extremely important because I thought in my mind going into the research that it was only going to be around 20% at a high. Whenever I hit the 50% number for all the ones that I went over, I was blown away. I was absolutely in utter shock. During yesterday's class, I picked one token out of 3 whenever we first started, and I said this one's going to be a rug pull. Well, so far, we've only had 3 in the last half hour. And by what I'm seeing with these initial numbers, I would have to guess that this one right here, 50, 75, and 100, will end up pulling the liquidity and rug pull the entire project before we're done with this class. And that is my prediction off of what I've learned and what I've seen over doing a class yesterday and doing the research on Friday. So this is extremely important for anybody that wants to start investing into ERC20 tokens and exactly how volatile the ERC20 token market is. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and go to Hikari. Now, the two we see on here are Hikari and Scarecrow. So we need to remember that that I picked 50, 75, and 100 is going to rug pull by the end of this class, just off of my initial estimates. So let's go to Hikari's, and we're going to pull up their page, and we're going to research the WETH Hikari token. And it would appear that whoever started the token started out with the 1 Ether. They had one person buy into it, and it was a bot. This right here tells us it was a bot. And they only had one purchaser. It says that there were 4 holders, which we'll be able to look at that in just a little bit. If you'll remember the DexTools class that I taught, I believe it was week 2 of the educational series, one of the things that I spoke about was the DexTools score. And any token that doesn't score over 50 is usually suspect, and you really want to do your research before you put any money into it. Well, most of the ones that I see that first pop up onto the DexTools new pairs page, they all have a score of 1 because they don't have any history behind them. And it's telling with how certain indicators that you can look at will tell you whether or not a project is going to rug pull. Now, I can tell everyone that one of the ones that I did on Friday is this one right here, Hachiro. This is very important because one of the things that I noticed with the amount of rug pull tokens is the naming. Names that tend to be Asian have a higher percentage, in my own view, to be rug pulls, which is one of the things that you can really follow. Now, that's not saying all of them are, but in my opinion, whenever I was doing this research, I found that most ones that have certain names tend to be higher on the rug pull list. People want to get in and get out. One of the things I noticed was that most of the rug pulls happened in between 15 minutes and 30 minutes. They had anywhere between 10 to 50 holders, and the nominal amount that these people were trying to get was roughly anywhere between half an ether to 3 ether. They're not going for big money, they're going for fast money on these rug pulls. They want people to donate a certain amount. Once they get to that amount, boom, they pull it, they go back into the code, they change some of the names in the code, and then they post it right back up and try to do it again. And it is phenomenal the amount of people that are falling into these, and they're losing their money. And this is one of the things that I was really wondering is, do these tokens and the way that they rug pull on a constant basis, does it correlate out with NFT projects, except for with an NFT project, you have to do what's called the long con or the long rug. You need to gain people's trust. You need to get people to buy into the project. So they're going for a larger amount to actually get out of people. They are going for big money. They're going for 10 ether, 20 ether, 100 ether. They want people to buy into their NFT project, and they promise the world, and then whenever it comes time, boom, close out the liquidity, and they're gone. If they get the proper mint, they just sweep, and it's over. You've lost all of your stuff. The only thing you're left with is just the pictures, but there's no project, so there's no value, and it's rug pulled. I heard somebody with their mic open. Does anybody want to make a comment on what I'm talking about? Does anybody have any questions?
Sorry, I didn't realize. I apologize. My mic was open. I'm just listening here.
Oh, no problem, Dave.
Jeez,
no
Dave.
problem. Does anybody have any questions so far before we start to dig in and start to go through the pages?
Thought we were already in pretty deep.
Oh, we have yet to begun to dig, Sarah. Yet to begun to dig. So,
Oh dear.
with the Hikari, it only had one buyer, so I want to pick one that had a few buyers so I can actually show you guys how bad this can be. And if anybody's wondering what the educational value is in this, how many people have actually done a research like this besides me? Raise your hand or go ahead and speak. Anybody? Daniel was in yesterday's class, so he can speak, or he can type, because he loves to type, as to how we went over things in yesterday's class. And it's very telling with what I learned and what I gleaned with the knowledge. So I'm turning on the chat on my phone so I can see the chat easier, because I've got the OBS up on to where I can make sure that everything keeps on broadcasting. So let's go ahead and scan down through the new pairs, because I want to find a good one in which to show you guys. Okay, right here we have two that rug pulled, and they started within 15 minutes of each other. So there's two. There's another one right there that rug pulled. Unlike yesterday, I see a lot that are still going after 2 hours. So it's very good to see, but I can tell you right now that this name right here, Kishu, that's going to be a rug pull. Another one, here's Hikari, there's that name. Rug pull. This is going to rug pull, I guarantee you. At some point, this one is going to disappear. And all the people that bought into it are going to lose, even though it's up 98.71% from its beginning. So this one is a large rug pull, and they've made 40 ether so far. But if we were to come back next week, if I was to copy this address and put it into the chat, at some point this one is going to rug pull just by the name alone. I can tell you that. The same names you can see right here. Moon, rug pull, moon, rug pull. It's almost like they're going after brand new fish. You're baiting a hook, you're throwing it out there, and you're waiting on the brand new fish to bite it. The old fish probably won't bite it because he's already had his lips ripped off, but the new fish are always going to give you a little bit of money. And you'll notice that most of the rug pulls, where they say rug pull, are anywhere between 1 to 3 ether. You see a couple of big ones like 10 ether here and 10 ether here. But for the most part, most of them you're going to see are going to be in between 1 and 3 ether, as I found. So we can just go down through here a little bit, and I'll show you rug pull, 2 ether, rug pull, 1 ether, rug pull, 2 ether. Here's a list of 3 of them. 1.2 ether, rug. 1.4 ether, rug. 1 ether, rug. So this is very telling, and it's easy to spot these. The one thing you want to look for is, what's their pool amount? How much have they started with? How long have they been going? What's the pool variation? Is it a decent number? If it's at 0, I can guarantee you that at some point in the next 24 hours, these will pull, because I went back and I looked at ones from 24 hours ago, and I bet if we screened all the way down through 24 hours, which would take us back to yesterday, there'd probably be an exorbitant amount that were rug pulls from 24 hours ago whenever I was holding that class. Now, with the contract information over here, it really doesn't matter if it's not verified or it is, that they can mint new tokens. Oh, okay, so this is the owner may have renounced. So a renounced contract means they can't change the contract, but it doesn't mean that it's locked. So there's so many things that you can read just off of the live new pair. Does that mean that any ERC20 contract or group that you hook onto or that you hear about is bad? No, it doesn't mean that. But my research showed that at least 50% of them are bad. Now it's up to us to determine which coin flip are you going to take. And the more knowledge you have, the better decision that you can make whenever it comes to calling these coin flips. Here it is again, another Asian name, rug pull. I don't know what in the hell Pofu is, rug pull. Here we've got 3 that posted 5.5 hours ago. 2 of them didn't even put in liquidity. 1 did put in liquidity, and they're up a modest 17.2, so that's not too bad. Here's some of those other symbols over here that I was talking about. See, there's a brand new symbol, and it would tell you which market is on. I don't recognize the one that has the 2 dots that looks like a little scalp of hair. I don't recognize that one. So here's another one, Casper. Didn't we see another Casper up there? And there's another Casper where it looks like they tried to launch, didn't get the liquidity in properly, so they launched here, got in the liquidity of 2 Ether, and then rug pulled. So it's very damning to the whole decentralized area that there are this many rug pulls. It's scary. A lot of times they use the same exact names. Hentai. That's I see that name a lot being pulled. But this one looks like it might be lasting for a while because it's been around for almost 6 hours now. And they've got 1.8 ETH in. So let's go ahead and take a look at him and see what we see. And I use him just metaphorically. It's neither a he nor a she. It's an it. So we take a look. We've got 23 holders. That's our first information that pops up. We know they started out with, what, 2 Ether, I believe it was. So they're only sitting down at a 10,000 market cap. Quick hit all the time. This one has multiple buys from multiple different people. Looks like the first 4 buyers, or the first few buyers, it looks like here, put in 0.12. Those might all be from the same exact person, which in fact I think I recognize that C9BB. Let me go ahead and look at my list. No, it's CO025 and CC23 9046 4020. Do I see any of those numbers? Because I made up a short list of addresses that I noticed that were doing this together, that were pumping ones up and then ripping. So on this one that started 5 hours and 45 ago, the one thing I do like about this is that I actually see sales. So this one actually is not a honeypot, because a honeypot would simply let you buy into the token, but then the contract has a little poison pill in it that says that you're not allowed to sell. So whenever you see the initial numbers on any of these, the first thing you want to see is red. You want to see red somewhere, because as long as you see red, then that means that the contract is going to let you sell. So that's good. The fact that it's got 23 people in it, that's a good number too. They're getting some people. But the name alone, hentai, this is going to rug, in my opinion, just by the name. And see, Daniel says this would be a good tool to cross-research projects with social media present or due diligence in general. Yeah, exactly. So if you could find certain people's wallet addresses that are in NFT projects and specifically tie them to that address and find them on multiple different projects over here in the ERC20 world, then yeah, that would be a very good cross reference. But the amount of work that would have to be put in to building that database it's intense, to say the least. But I could definitely see where it would be very good, Daniel. That's a great point that you made there. So I'm going to say 24 hours on this one, but let's go, and I promise, research on an actual one that had rugged, that has some good numbers on it, because I want to dump into some things here. Here's another one, Moon. There's that name, Moon. I do not like it. Every time I see it, it's usually a pull. They started out with 11 ether, and they've got 20 ether. Wow, and this one started 12 minutes and 45 ago. I'll bet you we could watch this one right into oblivion, because just by the name alone, it's going to rug. This is one of those names that people are using that are rugs. We've got 2 holders. It started out with 11 ether, but yet got all the way up to 33 ether? For some reason, I have questions. If we go all the way back to the very beginning, back to page 20, and look at our numbers here, I don't see any that jump off to me the same, but I see some extremely large buys. They've had a couple of sales. We can actually check out how many sales. So this address all by itself, since this launched, it's had 2 buys and 3 sells. It's bought in for a total of 0.1. It's had sales of 0.2, so they've already made 0.1 profit. And the last time I checked, 0.1 profit right now, if we go up here and we look at the price of Ether, Ether is at 1,336, so they've made $133 profit just on this contract alone. So if you're doing that once an hour, you're making $133 an hour. That's pretty good day trading the last time I checked, especially if you're just hitting and then running. But the problem is you have to hit these contracts that are going to stay up long enough to where you can hit and run. And that 15 to the 30-minute window that I noticed on Friday whenever I did my research does not last for very long, and you've really got to catch it quick, and they have to have enough liquidity in the pool to where you can pull out double what you've put in. So it's very hard to catch it good. And we can look even at just the 5-minute intervals in which we have this one. The first 5 minutes was all up, and then it was down for the last 10 minutes at least, because these are 5-minute candles. So we've been down for 10 minutes. Now all of a sudden you've got another person, you've got a couple of people buying in. 97C7 has bought in twice, but when did they buy in? We can actually go and we can see that their first buy-in was at 12:20, which was 10 minutes ago, and then 12:31 was their second buy-in. So they have put in over an ETH. 1.13 ether they are into this right now. So if this person gets rug pulled, ouchie ouchie, they're going to lose some serious money. So we're looking at just his alone, and I don't like the name. I don't like anything about this. They've got 190 holders now at least. So this one is gaining some serious traction just in the 15 minutes. So are these people that are buying in, do they think they found a great deal on this? Well, I think they're going to be sorely disappointed. I hope they're not, but it's kind of hard not to believe that this isn't going to rug pull just by the simple fact that the name Moon has done it so many other times on that new pairs list. So some people are getting out, some people are getting some money out. Let's take a look at 63.67. And so far they're still minus 1.8. So that's what, roughly $240 that they're down right now. But they have bought in, they've sold out, they bought in, and they've, oh, you know what? This is a bot contract. I just noticed that as I was looking over here. I get so zoned into some of the numbers that I tend to zone out very quickly on what I'm looking at. So this is a bot that is doing these buys and sells. And it looks like the initial buy right here was 401, and they sold for under that at 508, or roughly 509 if you want to round it up. Then it bought in for 0.2, sold out for 0.016. You know what? That's a very weird bot. It's losing this guy money. So is this bot being ran by the people that put this contract out? Is it a luring technique that they're using? Any one of these things can be extremely true whenever you're looking at those numbers. So here's one that's an actual bot, 2092, that bought in for 0.379. So that's a pretty decent size number. This person, CC2E, bought in for 0.56, very large number. That happened just now. So what's going to be the magical number before they yank? So far we're up to 31 Ether and 190 holders. Let's see. Let's take a look at this bot contract. Which one was that? Was it 6367? I believe so. Yes, it was. Okay. So we know that 6367 is running a bot. So let's go over to Etherscan and take a look at what this person is doing. Wow. Okay. This bot was set up just in the last 20 minutes, half an hour. And this is the only contract that it has set up on so far. Because it has a total of 76 transactions. But it's, oh, you know what? Moon Protocol. I wonder if we go back, because we know that this contract, and we go back and we look, this bot is set up just for the Moon Protocol contracts, because you can tell that it's been running for multiple days, and you can see all the transactions on each one of those days. So very interesting. This guy set this up, so I'd have to imagine that this bot belongs to whoever started by going over and researching where most of these contracts are going through their VoIP is Middle East. Middle East and Asia is where most of these are being started at. Can I pinpoint exactly? No, it's impossible, but you can get the localized area. And somebody asked me yesterday, well, can you share that information? I'm not about to share how I get that information, because it's a little bit shady, but I do get it. So just off of that information, for the people that are watching, we know that the Moon name has rug pulled multiple times by what we've seen today. And now we have a bot that is working on multiple different Moon contracts and pumping them. So if we were to log this address, which I just copied the address right there, we'll come over here to the Discord. I'll pull it up. We will go into the chat option, and I'm going to post this address into the chat. So if anybody wants to go back and look 24 hours from now, we can go back and we can look at this exact contract and see if it's still working. But chances will be that it won't be working. So there's a little bit of homework that we can do. I've got it over there in the chat bubble. It's very telling. CC2E, nope, I need CC23. That's what I'm looking for. Anybody have any questions to this point? Does anybody want me to cover anything before we go on to the next?
So people just make random tokens?
Yes. Yes. It is extremely easy, Sarah, to launch a token, have the contract in a saved file in your saved notebook, notepad, because it's just a Solidity contract. is all it is. And once you launch it onto the Ethereum chain, it costs X amount of dollars to launch it. And they're looking for that profit margin of 1 Ether. Because if it costs $2,000 to launch a contract and you make 5 Ether or 3 Ether, well, you've spent 1 Ether to launch it, you've made 3 Ether, that's a bonus of 2 Ether. And if you're just making 1 Ether every 15 to a half an hour, you're going to be making 2 Ether to 4 Ether every hour. And you just look at your overhead costs as to how much you can potentially make off of each one of these rugged projects. And as long as you're in the positive by any stretch of the imagination, then it's a win for them. And all they have to do is once they rug pull it, you go back into the contract language, you change 1 or 2 lines that have to do with what it's called and launch it again under a whole new name. So this might be a group of people or one person or 1 or 2 people that are doing this over and over and over during a daytime span. And of course, the world is round, so you have people that can do this in any given time zone. So this can be going on 24 hours a day. And as long as you have the same exact contract, change those couple of lines that have to do with the name of the contract, then you can just relaunch it again and just do it over and over and over again. Because it doesn't cost anything to pull all of the liquidity. It only costs to launch it. And much to my surprise, 50, 75, 100 is still moving. It looks like it's actually sold down all the way to where it began. So it looks like my call today was wrong. This one hasn't rugged yet. It has a diluted
And these
market.
people don't get caught?
Well, where or what law are you going to charge them under? There is no law. Show me the law on the books. There isn't one.
Stealing.
Do what?
Stealing.
From who? Stupid people?
Yes.
Okay, but what country are you going to charge them in? Are you going to charge them in the country where the person lives that got their money taken because they made a bad mistake? Or are you going to charge them in the country, if you can locate them, because they're probably using a fake VoIP? So you would have to pin them down.
Questions you're asking now. You have so many questions.
God damn it! Somebody that actually follows law. Somebody that knows all the questions that are going to be asked. Somebody that might have actually done this in the past.
How dare you ask those questions?
Do you remember me talking about what's the best way to catch a thief, Sarah?
Shoot them?
No. Hire a better thief.
Oh, that's true.
I'm the better thief. I know how these people work. I know what they do. I know the methods that they use. I know the reasoning behind why they're doing it. I know the profit margins that they're looking for. So I'm teaching people what to look for. Because with knowledge, you gain power.
What goes around comes around. These people get what's coming to them.
You would hope.
One day.
The question
One day.
is how long will they be able to keep it going? And wow, what a string of sales on this one. Holy moly. Everybody's got multiple transactions. Let's just go to the first one. Let's go to 435A. Let's go to his. Yep, he almost got everything back out that he put in. Looks like he's down, what, 7.9, so 0.008 at 1.3. He's down about $10. But he's made 3 transactions, so he's paid gas 3 different times. We go up here, we take a look at gas being at 31 right now. Oh my God. Ooh. So you're paying, what, $15, $20 per transaction? So he's got $60 in on gas. He's made back roughly maybe $15. So how much money has this guy made? Any? Or is he down roughly $45 to $55 in my estimation? So just this one wallet has no profit off of this contract. And the contract is pretty much, for the most part, dead because it's under where it started. So they're underwater already.
So then everybody's just selling it out?
Oh, yeah, because you can see right here on the screen at, let's see, we can go back and I can tell you the exact time. Let's go to just this sell-off. So at 12:02, so 42 minutes ago is whenever the sell-off started, right here. And look at that wall of red. All these people are selling out. How many did they have? Well, they had at least 11 holders. There's 72 transactions, which, if you'll remember from the first class, I said your holder count should be at least 2.1 ratio, or a 2 to 1, or even a 2.5 to 1 of the total transactions, because you want to see a buy, a sell, and then a rebuy. So if you get a 2.5 to 1 ratio, it's good. Well, this is a 7 to 1 ratio, which means people have, out of the 11 holders, people have bought in and sold 3 times, 3.5 times for the 11 to the 72 ratio. So as you can see, just by looking over here at these, everybody's got 3s next to their name, which a lot of these are double. So if we take and we refresh this page, a lot of these should disappear. And refresh, come on, computer. There we go. We pull back up. And even after an hour, our Dex score is still a 1. So it's very, very telling for this 50, 75, 100. One of the other things I noticed too is that this is, it doesn't have a little star right here to where I can save it. And that's very telling as well. It does not have locked liquidity. I can see that because this is not green right here. And, okay, so yeah, it was breaking them all down into 2s. So that pushed up the transaction counts. Let's go to this guy. 3 transactions. Bought in for a total of 0.009, profits 0.002 or 0.02. So he's down $26 just on his transactions alone.
That's like 3 days of Starbucks.
So this guy in the negative. Probably the only one we're going to find that wasn't in the negative is the first person that started the sell-off. So let's go to theirs. CD, there you go. There's your profit right there. 0.055. So if we go on the $13, he's got, what, a $60 profit? But he bought in twice and sold once, it looks like, because it's the same exact time. So he has 2 buy-ins and 1 sell-off. He got the 1 sell-off for 0.17. He bought in for 0.12, so there's your 5 profit. And not bad. On a $1,300 Ether, he's got a 0.55. Actually, let's go just with 1376. So 0.55 would be, what, $70 profit? But gas is up there at 36, so we're talking at least $10 to $15 in gas price. He's bought in twice, sold once, so there's $45 right there that he spent just in gas to get a 0.05 profit, which we have figured out to be somewhere in the neighborhood of about $65 to $70, maybe. So how much profit has he made? Really none. And he was the first seller on the sell-off list, if we look back. So technically there are two people winning, and that's the person that makes these false contracts that drain people because everybody's looking for that quick buck. They're looking for that nice hit that they can make a whole lot of money really quickly, and the person that is running the nodes that is making the money off the gas. And
that's like so much extra math to figure out.
Yeah, but if you're going to take $1,000 and put it into one of these contracts in a one hit, shouldn't you take into the fact that you're going to spend gas to buy into it? That's operating costs. You have to recoup that operating cost back whenever you sell, and you have to make it back twice, once whenever you buy in and once whenever you sell. So those are operating costs that have to be covered out of your profits. So if you're not making back at least 3 to 4x of what your gas price is, then how can you say that you're making any profit on these? So whenever it comes time to think about which ones you're going to invest into, you need to take that into account as well.
Right. If gas is like 25% of what you're spending on whatever you're buying, you're like, ugh, I don't think so. Like, I think I might pass on that. Damn.
And see, there's that moon name. And if we look down, so we've been here for almost going on an hour now. So we started out with nights and 5075. I'm really in utter shock that none of these have rugged yet. I really, really am. Both of the ones an hour ago that put in the 1.25 ether and the 50 ether. That 50 ether, wasn't that up a little bit? Wasn't that up to like 80 ether at one point from the 50? So, you know, it's not doing all that well. It's underwater at -2. So that liquidity pool is going down for nights. Now, it might be a good one. It might be a bad one. We won't know that for roughly 24 hours or more. You've got one here that's went up 200%. So they're doing decent for the last 35 minutes, but that's that moon. I don't like that name because all we have to do is scroll down here to see all the ones that are named moon that have eaten dog shit. Here's one right there. Bang, rug pull off of 10 ETH. And it's just telling. There, moon, 3 ether, rug pull.
I mean, I guess it's easier than robbing a bank.
Do what?
I said, I guess it's easier than robbing a bank.
Oh, yeah. Because with a bank, you'll have security guards. There is no one here that's guarding. I guess you could kind of say as long as people like me are teaching people what to look for and how to read these, then it's possible. Oh, look at this one. This one's called Knights, and it's got 18 ether in that pool. So we have Knights and Knight up there. They're all the same names. Shibimon, Hamsa, that's another one of those names that I've noticed. But now we're getting down a little bit farther. We're going back 7 hours. Look at the amount of rug pulls that we got now. We're seeing them in a line now. Huge amounts.
Yeah, I'm just make my own token. What the fuck? I didn't want to do it.
Yeah. But do you want to be known as a rug pull artist?
No, I just want to be known as the amazing person.
So just on right here on this page, you've got a rug pull at the top. No liquidity, no liquidity, no liquidity. Rug pull, rug pull. Hanging on by 50%. Parasite 2.0. Rug pull, rug pull, rug pull. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of these 10 contracts right here that were launched 7 hours and 13 minutes ago to 7 hours and 33 minutes ago, one out of 10 is still going, but not very well. It's only gained 50%. So you can see, okay, here, you got 10 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, less than 50% are still moving. None of them are over 100% gain. 10, 1 that's good. No, 2 that's good. Because this one's at 14.68%. So 2 out of 10 there. Go down here to 75 BP. Oh, hey, we got a better one here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out of 10 that are good on that page. 2, 3 out of 10 that are good. So my numbers work out. 1 out of 10. And as you can see, it's over 50% now as I scroll back. Up here we have a good block of a 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's our 50% mark that I was talking about whenever we first started talking about this today. So there's the first block of 10 where it's 5 of them are actually still surviving. And that was from roughly 13 hours ago to 12 hours ago. But how good are they actually surviving? 25%, 32, 35, 63, 88. So there's your only one that's above a decent measure. And if we go over here and we check out some of the names, there's that Shib name, there's Safu, there's a Chinese name. It's all Far East. Most of these ones that don't make it. Looky there. There's another moon right there. 4.25, but the name of moon. So I'm willing to bet if we were to do some deep dive research and go back to that wallet that I posted into the chat, we would probably find that wallet on this contract somewhere. So let's go ahead and pull up this one, and this one was from what, roughly 13 hours ago? They had 12 holders, 13 transactions. And we already know the liquidity is has been pulled, because we can see that right here. There's no ether in the pool. And there's all of our buys. So let's go over here. And we're looking for A83D. A83D. Yep, it's not on there. Shocking. But we do have a bot right there. So maybe he's only using that bot on certain ones. You know what we could do? Let's do this. Let's copy the address. We will go, just need to go to Etherscan right here. Punch in that address, because we know that it's only going on to Moon contracts. Oh, he just did another one. He just started. He's got some TXNs. He's actually transferring strong fingers. So he's using all sorts of different wallets to transfer in. 26. So this bot is going strong, because we looked at it a little while ago and it didn't have nearly these. So got quite a few. Go to the TXN. Let's go to the last one here. See what we're looking at. It's going into this contract. Going into, okay. Token approvals. So he's wanting to sell tokens, because that's what the token approvals is for, is so that you can sell on the Uniswap. Because once you buy tokens on Uniswap, then you have to get the approval just to sell them. So he's looking for the approval to simply trade those tokens. And it's right here. It says with the transaction, approved Moon for trade. So he's looking to sell those Moon tokens and get whatever he can back out of them. Let's go to 11 minutes ago and see what that transaction was for. Approved Moon for trade. So that's another Moon contract. Let's go. How many pages? You got 234. Let's go to the full list. Come on, take me to the full list. Because I know this went back more than a few days. I believe it was going back, what, 6 days, if I'm not mistaken? Come on. Come on, Etherscan. You can do it. Pull up the information. There we go. So, let's go back a page. Why is it running so slow? Any day now, Etherscan. Maybe they know I'm busy trying to look into this guy's history. Oh boy, this thing was just going to town trading. It was making multiple trades a minute. It's just in the 40-minute range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So every 5 seconds average, this bot is trading. Let's just go back 40 minutes because that's almost back to the beginning of the class. Moon for trade. So how much is he spending? He's spending $2.08 per transaction. And he's made 200 so transactions with this bot. That right there in itself is $500. So where's his profit margin? Yep, 193 transaction fee. Token approval. All of these are token approvals. Wow. Yep. Every single one of these are token approvals. This one's for $2.81, so it's more than $2. Or maybe this is just these people trying to get token approval. I didn't make sure of exactly which wallet this was before I started doing this. Oh no, wait, there's the Moon Protocol wallet. Oh, okay, that's why, yeah. This is the Moon Protocol, so that's why we're seeing these. I was in the wrong wallet. I was totally mistracked of where I was at. So this is all of the different wallets looking to get the ability to sell this. 6 people that are holders that are trying to sell this thing. One of the good things is I haven't seen the liquidity pulled yet. We can go back and we can look at that though. We can go back to one and I can show you what it looks like whenever they do pull. So pop back over to the live new pairs. And go down here to Hikari. Get its address. Have the Hikari address. Come back over here to Etherscan. Paste. Pull up Hikari. Wow, that one's called Tear Down. Not liquidity pull. They launched it and then tore it down within 5 minutes. Contract creation. Transferred in, launched it, right there and then tore it down 5 minutes later. So that's all the more time that that one ran. Everything's on the blockchain telling you exactly what happened. So they must not have made any money out of that one. Which, with these people that are doing this, each one of these is a hit or miss proposition, whether or not they're going to make money, because they got to get somebody that'll buy into it. Because unless you have somebody buying into the contract, you can't make any money out of it. This one made money. 37. We're going to see some numbers on this one. There was 82 transactions. Copied the contract address. Paste. Man, it's almost like I've done this before, looking at these. So we can read right here, they renounce the ownership. Token approvals. Oh, how is this one a Moon protocol again? I thought I copied. Oh, MPRO, Moon protocol. So it's another Moon contract. Wow, imagine that. So what do you think, Dave and Sarah? Did you guys get any information that'll help you out off of this class?
Just a lot.
Does it make you want to go and puke into a bucket?
Makes me want to go terrorize these people.
Definitely makes you not want to invest into anything, huh?
Exactly. Like, who are all these people? Like, if I don't, like, know you directly, I'm not buying anything you own.
That's probably
like, legit.
Pretty good idea. Because
if you're not, what do they call that? I can't think of that word now.
Like a trusted friend?
When you're out there in the open and your shit's out there and everybody knows who you are.
Doxed.
What's that even? Yeah, there you go. You're not doxed, I'm not buying nothing. Forget that.
See, now, whenever I did this Friday, and I was doing it strictly for research purposes, like I said before, I didn't expect to find more than maybe 15 to 25% as bad actors. But whenever it was well over 50%, I was just blown away. Because 50% is just a conservative number that I went with over a 4-hour period that I was doing this. And it was one of those things where I was sitting there and I went, I've got a theory running around in my brain. Let's go and test it. So I started doing trades on all of these different pairs, and it was amazing as I started seeing them just be pulled, and I started writing down information on my little notepad as to which ones I was going into, as to how much I was putting in, how long were they lasting. So then I went, this is a perfect thing to do a class on, to show people exactly how bad it is. Because it went well above and beyond the numbers that I thought it was going to go. Any other questions? We've been here for well over an hour now. Dave, what do you think? Were you listening in? Or do you got your kids? Or did he pop in, put
He's still here. It's like 8 o'clock over there. I think.
He's over there eating tacos.
It is Tuesday. I have made out. Oh no, it's fucking Wednesday. But man, makes you not want to like invest in anything and why people talk so bad about Web3.
Well, and like I was saying, whenever it comes to these are quick hits and runs. Whereas I could see the NFT rug pulls being that long process. They're not going for the quick 3 to 5 ether gain. They're looking for multiples of 10. They want the big score. And if you list a mint for 0.002 or 0.005, well, if it's a 5,000 mint and you're selling them for $10 each at 5,000 of them, well, there's $50,000 right there. So you're looking at 50 ether gain. If it costs you 2 ether, 3 ether to launch the project, well, 47 ether gained. Take out the amount of time that it took. Some of those projects run for a little over a month, so you're looking at 30 days. If you're making 45 ether over 30 days, well, that's 1 ether a month, 1.5 ether a month, or a day, huh? I'm sorry. So is it a short, quick hit, or is it a long con NFT rug pull? And that's the correlation that I was looking for, is how many of these are rug pulls, and can it correlate over into the NFT world? Because it's the same type of information. Because all an NFT is numbers under a picture. It's a contract on the Solidity chain or on whatever chain that you make the NFT contract on, and you're putting a picture over code. Is all it is. But that's the class. Scary. Very, very scary. Hey, here's one called Putin.
And even at my current job, a couple months ago, my old boss just got, caught stealing $2 million from our company. So it happens in real life too.
Wow. That's a big time.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like our company and the government, but yeah. They're all going through that now too.
It's really amazing whenever you look to see on this. Go back up to the top here. And, oh, looky there. There's a new moon. That one's still plugging along. There's that Knights one where we got another one named Knights right here.
And I know, like, people don't want, like, the government or anything in Web3, but, like, the millions of dollars that people get stolen from them, trillions of dollars.
Well,
eventually.
As much as I hate to see people lose money, I don't want Big Brother in my pocket. Less likely they are to fall into these honeypot traps or these rug pull traps. So we need to self-govern ourselves. We need to teach people. We need to get the word out about what to look for, how to do the research, the different wallets that are involved. Because the more knowledge that is passed in between people, the less likely they are to have any of their stuff stolen. Because for as many people as I see in all the different projects that have their wallets drained, it's all the same exact scenario. Well, I clicked on a link that I thought was good. Well, they assumed. And do you know what assumed means whenever you break it down? Have you
Makes you look like an ass.
Out of you and me.
Yeah.
ASSUME. So, and I really don't want the government looking over my shoulder whenever I'm doing things. It's none of their goddamn business what I do with my money. And if I lose my money, it was mine to lose. It wasn't theirs to tell me what I can and cannot do. So, do I want the government in space? No. Do I want people to be able to recognize these things? Oh yeah, most definitely.
Maybe just the education part and like
Yeah.
something.
But this is a perfect getting
I hope not.
knowledge passed on to you, and you're seeing what to look for by somebody that actually knows what to look for and how to look it up and how to do the research on it. But you're only 3 out of how many thousands of people each day that get scammed. Well, we've went this one over an hour for this class.